Hellwig.
All right, everybody, sit down, sit down. Thank you. I've done this quite a few times now, and no one ever stood up, but I said, I don't care. I'm going to tell everybody to sit down, like Chris Rock has to tell everybody to sit down right before he gets slapped. So Gettysburg, thank you for having us. It's a privilege and honor to be able to come to a town like this where a famous president gave a great speech. We've come a long way. Now we have a president right now who, on his way to giving an incoherent speech, shits himself. And you know he shits himself because he's got that uh-oh look on his face. Anybody that's ever shit themselves before, that uh-oh, that look, that's reserved for I just shit myself. Speaking of which, my asshole is greasy today. Nobody. I had a prostate exam yesterday. I couldn't pee for almost a month. It was painful. I'd stand at the toilet for 20 minutes, just a few drips would come out. And I knew it was one of two things. Either I had a swollen prostate or I had a bladder infection. And for whatever reason, when you go to the doctors, they rule out the prostate first. They won't give you the antibiotics. They got to go up in your asshole first. So I go in there. Now my doctor, great doctor, this 6'4" black man, got hands like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And he played basketball when he was younger because all of his fingers, they're not quite straight. And I don't know for sure, but I was pretty sure that my asshole couldn't accommodate that hook in his finger. So he said, Sam, I'm going to have to check your prostate. Take your pants off. I said, where should I put them? He said, put them over there next to mine. So he said, bend over the table. So I bent over the table, and I could hear him behind me with the lube. And first I thought, he's using a little bit too much. But then I thought, no, let him use the whole goddamn tube if he has to. So he comes up behind me, and he says, this ain't gonna take but a minute, which coincidentally is the same thing I tell my wife when I'm back there. And all of a sudden I felt his left hand on my left hip. And I said, I better not feel your right hand on my right hip or I'll know what the hell you was greasing up back there. So he puts his finger in my asshole and starts wiggling it around. I try not to make any noise. And he says, does it hurt? I said, yeah, Doc, it hurts. He said, more than normal. I said, I don't know. I don't normally have your finger in my asshole. So he says, well, it's not your prostate. So I stand up. My pants are around my ankles. I didn't know what to say. What do you say? I look down and there's I'm 52 years old now. My balls hang way down lower than my dick does. Looks like a homeless man sitting on 2 duffel bags. I said, Doc, I don't know what to say to you. So I pulled my pants up and I picked up my prescription and I left. But I didn't come here to tell you that. I went home that night and my wife, I can always count on her whenever I'm naked in a well-lit room. I can always depend on her for her honest opinion. So I got out of the shower and she's like, Jesus Christ. She looked down here and she said, do something about that. I said, do what? She said, I don't know, trim it up or something. Does anybody manscape? I didn't know that was a thing. So I said, well, I don't know. I said, I don't have any. She said, I'll get you some. So the next morning I woke up, I had a little morning wood. And I walked in the bathroom, I looked at myself in the mirror. I said, Jesus Christ, that looks like Pinocchio joined the Taliban. So I was a little nervous. I thought about it. I said, there's some pros maybe to it. Maybe my dick will look a little bit bigger because, things look bigger against a white background. I said, maybe my wife would be a little more willing to give me a blowjob. Maybe she could breathe a little bit easier while she was down there. She wouldn't make me spend 20 minutes washing it. Turns out, no. That didn't help. So I got in the shower with the clippers and my stomach it was blocking my view. I thought maybe I can use my phone as the camera. But then I got nervous I'd accidentally post it to Facebook. So I just started blindly shaving. And after about 5 minutes, there was about a 6-pound pile of pubic hair at my feet, looked like burnt tinsel. So anyway, I've been on a bit of a weight loss journey. I've lost 40 pounds. The last gig I did, thank you very much. The last gig I did, I told everybody I lost 50, which was true at the time. But I've had to scale that back a little bit. And losing weight is tough if anybody's ever tried to do it. And for me, if I'm going to make a big change in my life, I need something, drastic or dramatic to happen. And there's little things along the way. For instance, tying my shoe is a race against death. Either I get that knot tied or I pass out. One or the other is going to happen. You go into a restaurant, you walk in with a group of people, and they're like, would you like a booth or a table? And everybody looks at me. And then I lie and say it don't matter, and hope to God when I'm walking to the table that the table isn't bolted to the wall so I can move it. If not, I'm going home with that red line across my stomach. Anyway, so the final straw, we went to Disney. And Disney's great for fat people. It's great. You go on that Epcot Death March. The heat is wonderful. The chafing. So we're down there, and they opened up this new ride, this new section, Pandora. And there's this ride. We were in line for about 2.5 hours. It wasn't crowded that day. And so it's one of them rides where you look at the screen and you feel like you're moving. You're not actually moving. So I get to the front of the line, and you're riding on that bird, the banshee. And so they're going to invert you. And even though you're not moving, they invert you. So you have to be belted in. So there's a restraint that comes down in front of you and one that comes down behind you, and it's puts you in. So I sit down and I pull the front one down and it locks. And then I see the attendant come down. He's 14 years old. He's come down. He's doing the rear one. I'm starting to get nervous. So I start scooting up a little bit. I scoot up. So I scoot up. Now he's behind me. And he pushed down on it. I don't hear nothing. He said, scoot up. I said, all right. So I scooted up. He said, suck it in. Now at that time I noticed about 40 people got their eyes on me. All of them staring at me. So he said, suck it in. Now God bless him. He wanted me to ride that ride. So there's a wall behind me. He's got his ass up against the wall. He takes both his feet up and he's got it on a restraint and he's pushing and he's making noise. And he's going, suck it in, sir. Suck it in. So finally I said, stop it. Just stop it. Let me off this ride. He started apologizing. I'm sorry. So now I got to do the walk of shame. I feel like a 10-cent whore walking across that line. A couple people went, I'm sorry. So then I get out there. Now there's a woman whose job it is, as it turns out, she's just to apologize to the fat people. She said, I'm so sorry. She said, can I scan your magic band? She's like, I'd like to give you complimentary tickets to the buffet. And she says, now you got family on the ride? I said, yeah, my family's on. She said, you can sit there. And that chair was 4 fat people. It was 3 times as wide as this stool is. And she said, sit there and wait for them. So I sat there. Normally them rides, they feel, they're 90 seconds. Like that, felt like they were on there for 4 hours. So I'm sitting there, and another fat guy comes out from the other side of the room. And he's got something to eat in his hand, and he's proud. You too fat for the ride, too? I said, yeah. Yeah, it's the 3rd time that happened to me today. I didn't say nothing first, but I said, would you mind telling me what the other 2 rides were, please? So my family came out, my daughter, she gave me a hug. She said, I'm so sorry. I said, get off me. So we were walking, I told my wife, I said, and that's it, I'm losing weight. And I said, I've never been so embarrassed in my life. So I So I went about this, I have no idea how to lose weight. I was real good at gaining it, done it my whole life. And I tried salad, that didn't work. Turns out I like salad dressing way more than salad. I didn't make a salad look like a dead body floating in a river. I got in touch with a nutritionist. That didn't go so well. The nutritionist, she's real cheerful. She says, okay, let's start. Tell me what you had for breakfast this morning. I said, no, today wasn't a good day. I don't want to talk about today. She said, come on, how bad could it be? I said, I don't want to talk about today. She insisted. I said, all right, well, for breakfast I had donuts. She said, all right, I mean, wherever you were, they were out, right? They were already out. I said, no, I drove to get them. Well, all right, I mean, they were all on the way, right? I said, no, it made me late. So that didn't work. And my wife, she's tiny, she's right there. She exercises every day. She says, exercise. She says, once you start, you'll get addicted. I said, I don't think so. I got a lot of willpower. I can quit that shit cold turkey. And then eat the cold turkey. She said, let's join the gym. So we joined the gym, we went. First mistake she did, I got on this elliptical machine, and right to my right was a rowing machine. So she's down here, her head lined up perfectly with my asshole. Now, when I exercise, I get gassy. Maybe it's nerves. Whatever, I get a little gassy. So every time I push down on that pedal, right in her face. I mean, it was perfect timing every time. So she said, that's it? And she stood up and she stormed off. She said, I want to do something else. I said, I don't want to do anything else in this gym. There's too many ups in this gym. There's pull-ups and sit-ups. I prefer downs. Sit down, lay down, wolf a sandwich down. I don't want to do any of these ups. She said, trust me. So I got back on the elliptical machine. And she's checking on me. She said, how you doing? I said, I'm doing all right. You know, I hear other people talking about what they're going to do next. And she comes up, she said, you can really feel that fat burning off, can't you? I said, I hope it's a controlled burn, because if this baby goes off all at once, there's going to be a mushroom cloud above this gym. So anyway, 40 pounds. So I should have known to stay off that ride anyway. It had something to do with a bird. I'm scared to death of birds. I've been scared since I was a child. I got attacked by a hummingbird when I was a child. So years ago, we went to this zoo. My wife, my daughter was like 6 months old. She was tiny. And inside the zoo, it had one of those areas where you get on a tram, you ride around, and the animals are loose there. They got deer, maybe some bison. It goes around, and then it goes back out and lets you out. Well, while we're in there, the goddamn tram broke down. And the attendant, he says, we had some technical difficulties. He said, please stay in your seat, and another tram will be by in a few minutes to pick you up. About 100 yards away, I saw an ostrich, and that motherfucker was looking at me. I said to my wife, I said, do you see that ostrich over there? She said, yeah. I said, that motherfucker's looking at me. She said, he is not looking. I'm saying, that motherfucker's got eyes on me. I'm telling you, he's looking at me. And just about that time, he started flapping his feathers, stomping his feet. And that motherfucker can run like 30 miles an hour. And he started coming toward me. And he started picking up speed. So I don't know. I said, he's coming. She said, he's not coming. I started screaming. Ah! 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 So I didn't know what to do. So as he got closer, I picked up my child. Now, she was only 6 months old. I hadn't known her that long. I wasn't that attached to her. So I held her up in the air like that fucked up monkey from The Lion King. Well, just about that time, that ostrich got right alongside the tram, and it was covered, so I could only see its body. And it stunk, too. It straight up smelled like shit. And I was like, and all of a sudden, it ducked its head underneath the thing, and it's right here, and I started screaming. Ah! And it started pecking me in the head, and I'm screaming. Ah! And I didn't know what to do, so I grabbed it by its neck, and I'm choking this bird, and I'm fighting this ostrich, but just its head and its neck, and the attendant's yelling, sir, let go of the bird, let go of the bird. So he come over, he threw a bag over the bird's head, and then he threw me out of the zoo. That's my time, y'all. Thank you very much.